Alright, let's do this one more time. The long-awaited sequel to Breath of the Wild. I was a bit concerned as the hype really didn't seem to exist. In fact, a lot of people seemed mad the game was real. I mean, I wonder what... Oh, yeah, they made it more expensive. Well, for all of you who think it's not worth it, is beyond worth $70. I am writing this before I even have the game. Not every Nintendo game is worth $70. No, I'm not paying $70 for Mario Party. But a Breath of the Wild sequel with loads of new content? I mean, hey, it took me 3 months to beat this game and get through everything. That's why I'm just making the video now. People really out here mad about reused maps. Oh, but God of War does it, and that's okay, and we love God of War. Companies reuse assets. The game's $70, it makes sense. The prices of games haven't changed for years, and now they start to, and you get upset over it? If you really hate it so much, buy the $100 game tickets and get Tears of the Kingdom and another game for just $100. Now, being a personal fan of Zelda since my childhood, and my first game being Skyward Sword in 2011. Ignore that, I was just having a crisis. Now, playing this game, I fully recommend playing Breath of the Wild because there is so much new content. Having the old mechanics in your head helps so much. Right, imagine you're trying to play baseball, but your dad never taught you how to catch as he was too busy getting milk. That's what it feels like playing Tears of the Kingdom without playing Breath of the Wild. Alright, we need to go over some story before we start, so spoilers. Skip here if you want to get past that. So let's put this in perspective. Of Ganon, the king of evil, you just attained all the power you ever wanted. The sages are trying their hardest to even give you an inch of a challenge. Rauru, the first king of Hyrule, finds the only way is to seal you. He hits you with the hardest and punch straight to the chest. He's beginning to steal you away, and you laugh as you know this will only delay the inevitable. He tells you to wait for a swordsman named Link. Laughing at the name, ready for your challenge when you awake. And when you awake at the end of the hardest nap in Hyrule, the swordsman Link has arrived, and you're ready for your greatest challenge yet. And he totally gets destroyed and is a complete pushover. Being disappointed, but it is no matter to you as you arise to power, causing the calamities all across Hyrule, just like you wanted. Now let's switch into Rauru, the first king of Hyrule. Obviously you save Link, but he's at a beyond repair, so you super glue your arm to his. Now, Link awakens, you guide Link to you. Now, you know he must be dazed, confused, and shocked, and he's completely fine. Well, if your definition of fine is Ari trying to rematch Ganon, a face full of rocks and raw chicken, he tells you, oh yeah, I've been through this before, kinda just like this, without the creepy mummy arm. You tell the hero that he must complete challenges to regain some of his old power, but you are in total fear of Hyrule's future as it is now in the hands of a lunatic schizo. He completes these shrines in no time. You are just shocked, gaining your own abilities and using them in horrific ways. With the tech of your ancient people already making devices of mass destruction. Now he has one final ability to get. He returns and gains the ability to rewind time and completely messes with the time stream. The final shrine he soon completes, and gaining some of the power, he sees Zelda, who takes the Master Sword and disappears. But that means your time is up and you send Link off, and he is diving already face first to fight Ganon. Now we're going to switch perspectives again to Purin. You see the lunatic land face first at your research center. You haven't seen this lunatic in months, and he randomly appears. You tell Link to go explore Hyrule Castle, where he sees Zelda disappear yet again, then appears right behind you in a moment's notice. You tell him to go jump in this tower. Maybe find it easier to find Zelda. He rushes his fears. What you use to build these towers is his old trauma. You send Link off to the sky to possibly never see him again.
Now with complete freedom, you can explore the land. The only word I can use to describe this game is expansive with how much there is. First things first is the Sky Islands. They are incredible. They're filled with Zonai devices so you can create your own things. Mini bosses that are exclusive to up here like the Flux Construct. But after like your 5th or 6th time, they start to feel very similar. All of them are mainly just shrine quests unless they're for the main dungeons, which I'm not going to talk about yet. Now diving back down to Hyrule, Hyrule is where you'll spend the bulk of your time, but Hyrule is incredible. There is so much more to do. You have a brand new cave and well system that expands Hyrule with new depth. Brand new shrines that all feel very original. I did notice though there was a lot of construct battles. Now don't get me wrong, I enjoyed these construct battles. I also found a ton of Raru's blessings all over the place. But my favorite thing about the shrines is the game always has a specific way they kind of guide you to do it, but you never have to just do it that way. Or ones that have like rail grinding. Like, I'm not gonna do the hard way, I'm just gonna play Bomb Rush. NPCs always give that new life. There's some easy ones just helping people around. There's my favorite reoccurring NPC, which is this Chad, and you have to help him carry the logs. Koroks make a return, and you can obviously do those Korok crests, finding all 999, you know, never have a life. But there's a new type of quest, which is helping Koroks find their friends, which normally devolves into torturing them. My personal favorite side quest or side adventure was helping Pin, a reporter, figure out Zelda investigations. At every stable, there's going to be a little quest about a Zelda investigation. My favorite, you find Zelda in like a cage, but it's actually just the Yiga clan trying to jump you. And also, all the NPCs from Breath of the Wild are still here. Hetsu, Hudson, Kaz. Wait, no, I was actually wrong. There is no Kaz. I could never find Kaz. That's a little disappointing, but seemingly all the NPCs have forgotten about Link. They just don't know who you are unless they were a part of the main quest, which is hilarious to me because that means this is the accurate way to play Breath of the Wild. So canonically, Link's just a speedrunner. Now there is one big elephant in the room, which is the lack of guardians in ToTk. Yes, you have Robbie and Purah giving their things, and the towers reference the guardians, but out in the open, there are no guardians to be found. Other than the arrowhead, which is the only reference to the ancient arrows, there's no divine beast, no guardians, no ToTk, and my favorite armor set is gone, the guardian armor. Even the champion's bike is gone. Honestly, I just really want the bike back. But Silex, you could just make the bike. It's not the same, but yes, you can build whatever the hell you want. Honestly, I only did simple things like the Goblin Guider and hover bikes, but you can make some awesome, incredible devices. Honestly, I think Nintendo was inspired by all the shenanigans we did in Breath of the Wild, like flying machines and other things to make the Zonai devices.
The thing that's really one-to-one to Breath of the Wild is the combat. It is almost identical. Flurry rushes, parries. The thing that makes it very unique though is the fuse ability. Being able to fuse things to your arrows, shields, and swords, like your bombs to shields, which allows you to make an instant bomb shield and play Tony Hawk Pro Skater wherever you want. Or like rubies to your arrows, which basically makes nuclear bombs. I found myself running out of items that I would never run out of in Breath of the Wild so much more frequently.
Enemies are all mostly carried over, but some make their return from past games, like the Horgoblins and Gyptos. The new main enemies are the Zonai construct. Pretty standard basic enemies, but they also have the ability to fuse weapons together. The ones that made the most impact on me were the Gleeoks, giant three-headed elemental dragons able to blow up whole cities. And the last new enemy added is the Gloomhand. You're casually strolling around and BAM! Red screen, these fuckers come up. You don't know what to do, you can't get close or you lose your life. You try to run away, but they just grab you and steal your hearts. Once you finally beat them, you feel such a sense of accomplishment, but it doesn't last long, as Phantom Ganon is right there to make you feel useless once again. Once you learn the Gloom Hands and how to keep them away and what to do about Ganon, they don't feel as cool as the Guardians. They have more impact the first time you fight them, but they don't have as much impact throughout the game. That laser and that noise strikes so much fear into me. You're encountering Guardians left and right. They're like mosquitoes trying to bite you. The Gloom Hands, I maybe ran into 8 times before I went to fight the final boss. Are still a good enemy though. I feel like they would have been more impactful if their numbers were higher. The only issue is you just don't see them enough to be like, wow, this is an encounter. Like, imagine if 5 or 6 Gloom Hands ran up on you. I've never seen that happen, but that would be terrifying. One thing I've been neglecting to mention, just like Nintendo, is the third map that debuted in no trailers, was not mentioned, and came out of nowhere. There are these giant holes laid all across Hyrule, and obviously my first instinct is to jump down there, which leads you to Hyrule's Abyss, the depths, a whole brand new map, better than the Sky Islands. Enemies steal your health, new bosses like the frogs, mini dungeons, and this old bastard Koga still trying to beat me up. Fighting light roots which bring light to the depths. Coliseum fights, my favorite with the 5 back-to-back Lionel fights. Going in blind was terrifying because they steal your health and there's no food to recover it. I really love the depths, as whenever I was bored of the sky or Hyrule, I just dive down and mess around. Now, we haven't really been talking about the main game that much. They pushed you to do the Rito quest first, which I did follow. I think it just helped that I was figuring out all the things I could do in this game as I beat this quest. You help Tulin with a gust ability, which you cannot play the game without. It changes it so much. Climbing up a giant sky island where we make it to a biking boat with new puzzles to solve involving his ability, way better than Breath of the Wild. Each main dungeon is ultra unique. After the puzzles, it's time to fight Kogera, making use of Tulin's ability to dodge and paraglide in the air to fight a giant serpent that can cause tornadoes. I moved to do the Gerudo village where there's another sandstorm. Great. Anyways, meeting with Ryuji, who can't control her powers, help her out and play some Plants vs. Zombies. Find the Egyptian temple where the mother of all zombies herself is chilling. She flies into the tower, then following right behind her, doing very interesting light puzzles. Doing it the right way was a lot of fun because you just have to think about every move you're making, and if you mess up any small movement, you screw it up. Finishing the zombie queen with a crowd control boss. Now that doesn't make it a bad boss since it's the only time it happens. I expired from the main story event that went off and get the Master Sword, which is a story I will not spoil, but moving on to the Gorons, who are all addicted to crack.
Hey, Link, buddy. Link, you gotta help me out. You know me. I'm a Goron. Link. Can you just give me some of that rock over there? Link, please.
Which is my favorite quest overall, finding Yunobo being taken over by the Mask, which leads you to fight him, then jumping down Death Mountain, which leads to an old minecart quest, but can also be cheesed with the hover bike, and finishes with a Goma battle. What a classic.
Careful.
Then I moved on to Sidon, going to find out all the water is like the Ohio River, toxic as fuck. Then meeting his wife? Ooh, damn, the fangirl's about to lose their shit over this. No more fanfics of Link and Sidon. Then with Sidon going straight to the water temple, and he leaves for God knows what, finally meeting back with the least memorable dungeon. I threw some water places and it activated it, I don't know. But into a really cool boss, the Mukdara. Times 3 Lionel bows and opals absolutely destroy and melt this boss. I don't even need Sidon, you can just
go back to wherever the fuck you were. Now there's one more which I didn't mention. I mean, it is a main dungeon, but it doesn't really feel like a dungeon. More like grab these pieces. Hey, now you have a mech. And by the time I got the mech, I was doing more base damage without it, so it kind of just got regulated to another punching ghost. Now, the punching ghosts that I'm talking about are the main powers you earn for beating the main quest. Now, other than Tulin and possibly Yunobo, with a bit of convincing, they suck. First, they're so painful to activate. Like, I have to chase them mid-fight if I want to activate this ability. Like, where the fuck are you going? Even in their ghost forms, they barely do anything. Every time I hit an enemy, they're always 30 feet away. Tulin is the only one who is useful, the literal goat with headshots, and with the best travel ability that changes the game up completely. The only useful one. Only. Yunobo gets a pass, because, you know, he's big damage. And with having the bowling ability, he has his uses. But Sidon, Ryuji, and Minoru fucking suck. Sidon is the weakest. His water strike barely does shit, and is hard to aim. Ryuji is even more disappointing. The lightning strikes that take forever to load, and can't even kill a single Gibdo. Like, this is her better, superior in every way, older sister or Bose's ability. This is hers. And Minoru barely does shit. It is a painful resource management. I can't mid-fight refill your back and arms just because the weapons broke. You had a fun boss fight, but after that you're useless to me. Now here's a simple fix for everyone's ability. Tulin, you're fine. We love you. Yunobo, maybe cause a bigger explosion, like you're weaker than a bomb. Sidon, you need to give me multiple strikes. Make it like a water weapon where my moveset changes to be a 5-hit multi-slash water move. I should feel like Tanjiro, not a crackhead with a water bucket. Ryuji, when I strike down the lightning, because of this damn wait time, I should see God himself strike my enemies. Not some weak current that a child feels when they stick their forks into electrical sockets. And Minoru? Just copy me. When Minoru should not just be a mech that you climb on, it should be an ability that you have to activate. Instead of me just having to hop on your back and then bit a through hits, get a few blocks, oh your weapon's broken, now I hop off, where you barely did any damage. Just be a stand like you properly should be. In a short burst of time, you act as my shield. You parry all the moves for me. You flurry rush when I flurry rush. You attack when I attack. You just need to be my star platinum. Now, keep the ghost aspect the same. I like that. But let me show you how to make an ability activation so much better. You already had it right with Breath of the Wild. Nintendo, if it isn't broken, don't fix it. Still love this game so much, and the final battle with Ganon was incredible. I don't want to get super spoiler heavy on this, but the heart, the cutscenes, each and every moment made it feel like it led to fighting Ganon right here. He does cheat, he plays dirty as the king of evil. It makes for a credible and a damn good boss. As I come to an end, I'd like to say a few closing words. Tears of the Kingdom is my favorite game of this year that I have played so far, and I still believe it will be. Yes, I love you, Spider-Man, and I can't wait to experience 19 inches of venom. In Baldur's Gate, you are a great transition of D&D, which I do hold dear, into gaming. You can even have sex. Tears of the Kingdom gave me more freedom and more experiences than any game ever. And I can also build mechs. And for the very few viewers who watch my stuff till the end, the homies mostly, shout out to the Fortuna Pirates. I kept doing more and more, which is why it took so long. Every time I made a script and I re-scripted it and I re-recorded it, I just added more shit. The reason being is this game is just massive. I spent the same amount of time as I did in Breath of the Wild, but for less than half of the completion than I did in Breath of the Wild, which is still a massive ass game. But if you stuck around for this long, thank you, appreciate it, have a blessed day, and I am out.